In this video, we will be going over chipper operation and required daily maintenance. This video will be the first step in your training process with the goal of familiarizing yourself with a chipper. Before moving or operating a chipper, you must perform a pre-trip inspection. First, walk completely around the chipper, checking for any broken or loose parts and removing any debris. Ensure that all safety decals and warnings are visible and intact. Near the front of the chipper, ensure that the trailer connector, breakaway cable, trailer jack, safety chains, pintle ring, and mounting bolts and nuts are all present in good working condition and tight. Plug the chipper's lights into the transportation vehicle and check to see that all lights function properly. Check around the suspension components for loose lug nuts, missing splash guards, and deflated tires. If needed, fill the tires up to the proper PSI recommended on the tire sidewall. Properly tighten the engine oil cap, engine coolant cap, hydraulic fluid cap, and fuel cap. While near each cap, ensure that the fluid is at their recommended level. If applicable, use the coolant overflow reservoir to check the coolant levels. Make sure the engine is cold when checking the coolant cap. If you see any fluid leaks, do not use your hand to stop the leak and let a mechanic know. Lastly, you will need to turn on the chipper so that it may be greased. Before turning on the chipper, you must wear complete and proper PPE, especially safety glasses and hearing protection. To turn on a bandit chipper, click the key in the ignition once and wait for the screen to turn on and then start the engine. With the clutch lever, bump it forward twice, then push it forward to engage the clutch. Grease the feed wheel bearings, main cutter drum bearings, and yoke slides to purge, which will take approximately 20 to 40 pumps. To turn on a Vermeer chipper, use the key in the ignition to start the engine. There are 4 engine modes: engine idle drum disengaged, full throttle drum disengaged, engine idle drum engaged, and full throttle drum engaged. To grease the chipper, you must be in the engine idle drum engaged position. Grease the 2 feed wheel bearings and the chipper drum bearings to purge with approximately 20 to 40 pumps. Report and submit any potential issues before completing your pre-trip inspection. Otherwise, you are ready to transport and operate the chipper. Your transport vehicle should follow all over-the-road regulations. When arriving on a job site, it is important to position the chipper as safely and efficiently as possible with the least amount of traffic obstruction. Place the chipper in a location with the least amount of brush travel, but do not place it directly under the tree being worked on. Properly cone off your work zone, set up signs, remove any trash or debris near the chipper, and remove or avoid any tripping hazards. Now let's go over the basic functions of a chipper. Every chipper operates slightly differently, so please refer to the manual if needed. Before chipping any brush, ensure that the discharge chute is in the desired position. After the chipper is warmed up and greased, engage the clutch to the drum engaged full throttle position and press the green button. The chipper is now ready to be fed. The feed control bar above the feeding tray controls the feeding pattern of the chipper, such as stop, forward, neutral, or reverse. Feed the chipper from off to the side and not directly in front of the feeding tray. Feed the limbs butt first. If you need to guide some of the limbs towards the feeding wheel, use a large limb. Do not use your hands, metal objects, or small limbs to guide the limbs into the feeding wheel. If the wood is not feeding properly into the chipper, engage the feed control bar to stop and then to reverse to bring back the difficult brush. You should then try to feed those limbs back into the feeding wheel in smaller quantities or with the limb butts closer together. When using a chipper, there are many precautions to take for maximum safety and efficiency. Do not put ropes, stones, metal, treated wood, or any body parts into the chipper. Do not wear any loose clothing near the chipper. Do not try to force or speed up the chipping process. Let the chipper do the work. Rotate the discharge chute when the wood chippings start to pile towards one side. If you are not actively using the chipper, put the clutch into engine idle, drum engaged. In the event of an emergency, depending on the chipper, push or pull the feed control bar, push the safety bar below the feeding tray to stop the chipper, or pull the last chance cable to pull the feed bar to the neutral position to also stop the chipper. When you are finished using the chipper, go to the engine idle drum engaged position. Wait for the drum to slow down, and then go to the engine idle drum disengaged position. You may then turn off the engine by turning the key. Begin cleaning up the ground near the chipper. Dump any excess brush from the ground onto the pile of wood chippings. Do not feed it into the chipper as rocks or other debris may be picked up from the ground. Then, use a blower to further clean up the work site. Close the feeding tray and lock it with the latch. Afterwards, if you are done using the chipper, you may secure it for transport by ensuring the trailer connections are still secure. The next step now in your training process is to coordinate a meeting with your crew leader or production manager to receive hands-on experience with the chipper.